What's going on, guys? Rob with the Bodybuilding Anchor here, back again for another video. Got a few updates to go over today. First off, we have Akim Williams. Akim's lats and arms are looking crazy as always. His legs, though, still looking small as they were in the Olympia. His legs were always, for me, one of his body parts that were kind of lagging behind, and it's only been a couple months since the Olympia, so really there has not been many progress made, which I mean is expected. But also, Akim's Williams condition right now does not seem on par for him to come in dialed in for the Arnold. If he wants to come in super dialed in, he's going to have to, I think, really diet really hard for the next 4 weeks, and that's going to pretty much destroy his physique, and he potentially just could come in flat and deplete it. Another thing with Akim, that he has a very long torso and high inserting lats, which is just overall is always going to be a weakness for him. It's pretty much nothing he can do. This is what his conditioning was like at the Olympia there back in December. As you can tell, he was pretty dialed in for this. So for him to get back to there from this, it's going to be really hard within 4 weeks. I'm going to expect him to come to the show definitely with not as good a conditioning, but I mean, he might come in bigger and fuller, which might be beneficial to him, or it might not have been. Akim did finish at 9th place at the 2021 Olympia, where he beat out Patrick Moore, who was in 14th. So I expect him to beat out Patrick Moore, but I'm putting in Akim probably in 6th place finish for the upcoming Arnold. Next up, we have Justin Rodriguez. So Justin right here showing us some updates in the back, and just like Akim, I think his conditioning is even more off here. If you look at his glutes and hamstrings, they are not even close to being show ready. For him to be in any bit of shape within the next 5 weeks, it's going to be absolutely balls to the wall dieting, which is always going to be bad for any type of bodybuilder. So I think he's going to come in with poor conditioning, which is going to just jeopardize him for any high placings. I'm going to put him in probably 8th place for this show. If you look at his condition here at the Olympia, you can tell that his conditioning wasn't even that great for the Olympia. So I think he's going to show up worse than he was at the Olympia, which is going to not be very good. So I'm putting Justin probably in 8th place. Here we have William Bonac. He updated a little photo here of him training shoulders, which he thinks is one of his weaker points, which I mean, he is a pretty narrow guy, so I think him widening his shoulders is going to be very beneficial for him. His conditioning is very on point though, so I expect him to show up to the show very dialed in, make his X shape a little more apparent. I mean, he could do pretty well. Bonac's going to be my dark horse for this show. He did come in 2nd last year, losing to Brandon Curry. And he did beat out Samson and Justin Rodriguez last year, but obviously that was not as good as Samson. But I mean, he could very well come in and shock everybody and come in 1st or 2nd place. I mean, it's not out of the question. He's going to be dialed in conditioning just like Nick is. So, I mean, he's my dark horse for this show. Overall, Bonac has a pretty put together physique. No real big flaws to it. For the Olympia, he came in not peaked very well, and that was a big issue. I mean, that was the biggest issue with a lot of competitors just because of all the hectic and bullshit was going on at the Olympia backstage. But I'm expecting him to come in and be a lot fuller on the stage this year, so that's why I'm putting him as my dark horse. And also, nobody's been really talking about Bonac for this show. Everybody keeps talking about Nick, Samson, Andrew Jack, Ramy, but there's not been a lot of rumblings about Bonac. Bonac's just kind of working in silence and honestly looking like one of the best conditioning right now for this show. So don't sleep on Bonac. Do not sleep on Bonac. And here we have Andrew Jack showing off the side chest. Looks like he's actually made some improvements to his chest, as the chest was one of his few lagging body parts. So it's good that he's definitely put on some mass there, but his bigger weakness, in my opinion, was the back and his legs. And as you can tell, he's got some long shorts on, covering up those legs, probably because he has not made any progress. And also the back, we do not see that either. So I think he's going to come in a little bit improved for the Olympia, but then again, he's going to have just a weakness in the back and the legs, which is going to push him out of the top 2. He's not making top 2, definitely top 5, potentially top 3. But I mean, just a lot of factors coming to this, so I guess we'll see when the show. See if everybody peaks right. That's the biggest thing. You never really know until you stand everybody side to side. It's just so hard to judge. You can look at all these updates as we go into the Arnold, and pretty much everybody always looks good on their Instagram updates, and everybody usually looks a lot different once you get them on stage. So I always take every update I get with a grain of salt, but it's fun to look at these physiques and see their improvements and who's going to be stage ready with their condition dialed in and who's going to be coming in with not the greatest conditioning. But anyway, that's going to do it for this video. Please like and subscribe. I would really appreciate that, and I will see you guys in the next one.